Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead of them and their companies. I'm your host, Olivia Salmons, and in each episode we'll uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, I'm very excited to be joined by Michal Juhas, founder of Cali. Michal is an AI automation expert and former CTO who helps businesses remove flow work and bottlenecks and turn manual processes into scalable, revenue-driving systems. His work sits right at the intersection of AI, operations, and growth, helping companies move faster, operate more effectively, and ultimately cover more of the opportunities they already have. Michal, welcome to Founders Future. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
Oh, hey, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here, and I'm very much excited to dive in and learn a little bit more about your journey. So, Michal, with all of my guests, I do like to start at the beginning. So, if you don't mind briefly taking me back to what it was you was doing before you started up Cali, and then from there, what was the motivation behind it?
Oh, well, my journey started almost 20 years ago, so it's crazy how time flies. So I started as a software engineer, then I was a CTO. We co-founded a technology startup in Bangkok, in Thailand. So that was a crazy ride. I lived in Bangkok for 5 years, and then we relocated back to Europe, where I'm from. And yeah, I embarked on new journeys, especially focused on recruiting back then. That was about 7 years ago. I have co-founded a Tech Recruitment Academy because when I was the CTO, I saw that recruiters don't know much about technology. So that's why with my partner, we started an academy, and we started teaching recruiters and talent acquisition specialists that there is a difference between Java and JavaScript, and that was fun. Just recently, probably 2 years ago, I started Cali because I got passionate about automation and marketing and sales, and also how much there is to automate when it comes to talent acquisition as well.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. And as you say, so you've had a very long background in tech, and then obviously taking that natural transition into AI and implementing that into everything you do. And I suppose, did you always have like a little bit of an ambition to be an entrepreneur, or was that something that naturally developed, obviously, as you went through your own journey as well?
I think I was always excited about entrepreneurship, also because both my parents are entrepreneurs. And I recall when I was a teenager, I was already selling some like CDs back then. We were creating some little startups, if we can call it that way, with my schoolmates. So that was awesome.
Nice. Yeah, cool stuff. So really living in it, and as you say, just having that inkling, I think always naturally draws you to being an entrepreneur when you're ready to do so. So let's dive into CaliFlow a little bit more then, just so the listeners can have some context moving forward. So, Michal, you said around 2 years ago you started the company. So at this point in, like, who would you say is your ideal client? Like, who's it you very, very much love to work with the most? And then from there, how is it you help them, and how would you support them?
So I love to work with people who would like to automate things. And there is so much to automate when it comes to recruiting, marketing, sales. And often people are a bit scared. So there are people who are used to doing things, some way. And often they are reluctant to try the new agents or orchestrations or workflows or whatnot. But then there's a group of people who would like to just throw everything out of the window and restart from scratch, even if they have great business, even if everything seems to be running smooth, but they still see that there is huge potential when it comes to automating workflows with AI. So these are the people I'm most excited to work with.
Yeah, love it. As you say, the people that are ready to kind of take on that new technology and move into AI and automate a lot. And I feel like there's a lot of advantages to doing so. So it's just finding those people that are ready to take that plunge. So when it comes to CaliFlow, how is it you help them automate the systems? Like, how is it that you work? What is it like to work with you?
So usually we look into what do they usually struggle with most. So is it the talent acquisition part, or is it marketing or sales? Where do their people spend most time? And then we start optimizing that specific workflow. So sometimes it is by creating some lead generation quizzes to segment prospects based on the ICPs that they have identified. Sometimes it is to automate pre-screening of candidates if they have too many candidates going through the pipeline. Sometimes it is to activate leads that are already in a database, and we would like to kind of go through tens of thousands of leads again because they are just sitting there dormant. So I mean, there are so many opportunities now when we look into, but also, I'm often kind of drawn to just experiment with things, and I tend to follow this shiny object, and sometimes I need to just pause and think, okay, what problems are we trying to solve? Is this a real problem, or am I just excited about the new technology? And this is also what I like to do with my clients, and always focus on the problem that we are trying to solve.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And I feel like a lot of founders that I speak to as well, naturally on the podcast, as you say, they try and over elaborate what they're doing and they often miss what is actually causing them problems. So as you say, really getting in and making sure they're not putting technology where it's not needed and actually implementing where the issue is within their business when they're looking to scale. So is it kind of like a platform where you very much integrate yourself into the companies, or how is it that you work with them?
Yeah, I sometimes step into as a fractional AI advisor and help them to implement some of the technologies that are available out there, because I mean they also see, for example, ChatGPT as a tool, but they don't see that it could be used as a tool that you connect through APIs to, or you can orchestrate a workflow through Nathan and then connect to ChatGPT, right? So they are used to the technology because that's what they have on their mobile phones, but they don't see the bigger picture, and that's why I hop on several calls with them. I help them see the bigger picture. And then it is either someone from my team or someone from their team who implements the technology.
Love it. So you can very much, as you say, get into the trenches with them, see what's going on, and then from there help. If they're already utilizing AI, at least enhance what they're doing or making it very specific to those needs. And I feel like when it does come to obviously marketing, sales, even talent acquisition, AI is very much having its moment within the spotlight. It's helping to streamline a lot of solopreneurs, making their system so much more smoother, which is a great asset
Yeah.
to have as well within the business.
Yeah. Well, now when you mention solopreneurs, I have my two kids in mind, because they are 10 and 12 years old, and they already released their first product. I mean,
Nice.
created with AI, of course, because my son, he cannot code just yet, but he used Cursor, he used Opus 4.5, and they released the product, and they are earning money. Like they earned 3,000 euros by now for the last two
Yeah.
months. I mean, they started building it in December, released in January. And I mean, this is what kids can do these days. It is a small software as SaaS product. So, and I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, if kids can do this, like what can we adults do, right?
So true. And as you say, if kids can do it and you implement it properly, as I assume you're teaching your kids to do, it's amazing the results you can see from it. It's just having that little bit of knowledge that you can provide to them and helping them take it along the way. Now, one thing I'm very curious to find out is obviously how you go about acquiring your own customers. So, like in terms of channels or methods, like what are you finding most effective at the moment in just finding those right people to work with, Michael?
I would say relationships. When I look back for the last 5-6 years, probably it's been mostly people who knew me through someone, or it could be that they knew me from LinkedIn, because I often post um, on LinkedIn. So they connected with me, and then sometimes it's really unbelievable. Like there are people who I connected with 2 years ago. We exchanged two messages, we forgot about each other, and then suddenly the person reaches out saying, "Hey, I've been following your content, and now I just need some help. Would you be able to hop on a quick call to discuss?" And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Like this personal branding really works. Um, on the flip side, it's not scalable. So I it's really difficult to scale word of
Yeah,
mouth, right? So I also have running some automations
makes
on the
sense.
back end when I'm using, well, I'm not sure if I can say it out loud, but on LinkedIn there are some possibilities how to automate connection requests and messages. So this way I increase the people who I reach every week or every month.
Yeah, beautiful. LinkedIn is a great platform to, as you say, just live on, rebuild connections and relationships you've built in the past. It's a really great platform to do so. Naturally, yeah, it's not as consistent, obviously, with word of mouth, the referrals coming in. So nice that you've added some stuff on top. So you're very much practicing what you preach and utilizing AI within your own sales and marketing, which is a pretty cool aspect. Do you utilize any other platforms or do you run any form of like paid advertisements just to bring in even more consistency to your lead flow?
Yes, yes. I'm also running ads on Meta, also on
Awesome.
LinkedIn. LinkedIn is substantially more expensive, so bigger part of the budget goes to Meta.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm really excited about new campaign that I'm starting with AI generated content, but kind of automatically with Cloud Code. So
Okay.
I remember, when was it, 5, 7 years ago probably, I was paying part-time consultant who focused
Yeah.
fully on just taking some assets and then creating campaigns. And now we can just automate it through APIs. We can generate content which is better than I could ever write, and it just costs a few tokens compared to what it worked, how much it cost years ago. So it's really amazing development these days.
Nice stuff. Yeah, so as you say, so running ads is a great way to build the consistency, you're saying. So just utilizing that. And then as you say, AI can pretty much do most of the marketing on that front anyway. So you've very much saved yourself some time and some efforts, not relying on agencies to do that for you, which is pretty cool. And I suppose again, just practicing what you preach, showing off that AI can do a lot more for yourself and your clients is a really cool aspect. Do you utilize it within your sales funnel as well? So do you have it kind of automating those first messages going out? Or even like responding throughout the pipeline, as you mentioned earlier on, like as for your clients as well.
Yes, yes. I have
Yeah.
just a new project built again with Cloud Code. I used Cursor a month, 2 months ago, but I started experimenting with Cloud Code now. And I mean, I just gave it the instructions that, hey, here is a product. Make sure that when someone purchases access to this workshop, they receive a welcome email. And then
Also,
it just connected to SendGrid. It drafted the message. It stored the template, and yeah, like I haven't really done much. I mean, it's just crazy, isn't it?
yeah, it is. And as you say, like that automated Spain, so you can just pop messages out, emails out whenever you like. It just saves you so much time and hopefully keeps you top of mind as well, because that's all you need to be doing from that nurturing kind of list is just staying that main focus so they know when they're ready. Michael is there and they can jump on board with you there, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And I suppose with all that being said, like what are your visions or ambitions for the company moving forward when you think of maybe the next like 6 to 12 months? What are the goals or the targets that you're hopefully looking forward to achieving?
Yeah. So I mentioned the startup in Bangkok, right? That was about 10 years ago, and we co-founded the high tech company back then. I with the vision to build a huge company, and we raised money from investors. We had about 95 people on the team, and that's what I thought the success looks like. To have a
Yeah.
huge team and lots of money from investors. And now I'm trying to do exactly the opposite. Just one man show, working with 20 agents and probably a few really smart freelancers, um, without any external investor, and just build products, ship products to production to see what actually sticks and what people like. And I'm just so much more productive and I have so much more fun compared to what was it like before.
Yeah.
um, and I mean, just a few years ago, like 2, 3 years ago, I was working with a few colleagues who sometimes, had bad days, and it was, everyone has a bad day, here and there, right? And now I feel like these agents are much more pleasant to talk to, compared to humans. So not sure if that's the vision of future, but for now, I enjoy it a lot more. Not saying I
Yeah.
don't, meet other people out there, but like coming back to your question, like if I can have a company just by myself with 20 agents and earn, substantial amount of money, that would be dream coming true.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I suppose because you have had the privilege of obviously having that big company before with the startup, you've grown it, you've seen what that's like. Now you can kind of see the other side of it and see what suits you more. And I feel like naturally with, I'm going to call you a tech guy because naturally when you are with that space, you as a CTO, you're often a little bit more prone to referring tech to people, and I can completely understand. It's one of the worst jobs about being an entrepreneur sometimes is working with other people and dealing with humans. So I completely understand. So just keeping that streamlined for yourself. And where are you probably finding like the biggest challenge in kind of setting that up, taking those next steps, or even within the current business itself?
Well, the challenge is actually to stop,
Oh, okay.
because
Yeah.
this cloud code, it's really addictive, because you get the instant dopamine hit, and it can build the next feature so quickly, and I can release it, and I can start selling something else, and it's it's getting dangerous, I would say. Dangerous is the right word, because you can still control it, but maybe in a month, like, who knows, maybe I'll be addicted to just shipping and releasing, and that will be unhealthy.
Yeah, so taking your time away from the screen as well, as you say, and even spending time with your family, I suppose, along the way. Building your own business, it's nice that you can take those times when you need to. So just trying to fit in that into your day so you don't become addictive will be a great forward thing from there. And and Michael, I have one final question to ask you. So if you could go back in time to a younger self and you could only leave yourself with one piece of advice moving forward, something you know now, but that you didn't know back then, what would you
Mhm.
say to yourself?
I mean, in the past, I was building products because I thought people would enjoy those products, or I thought, hey, these people should do something in a different way. Like I had this expert mindset, and I
Mm-hmm.
thought I assumed people have a certain problem and they should change their behavior
Yeah.
in another way. And then I was building products and releasing services in a certain way. Um, Now I like to think about an ice cream shop, like they they have an ice cream stand somewhere during the summer, and people want ice cream and they serve them an ice cream, right? And this is what I'm trying to also achieve now with the product that I'm building,
Nice.
because otherwise you are just wasting time trying to change people's behavior. If they
Yeah.
don't change behavior, you are trying to adjust the price or the product, you waste lots of time. But I realize that I just need to give people what they want and not try to change their behavior, and then life is much easier.
I love the analogy of the ice cream shop because I know exactly what you mean. As you say, it's like just because you like vanilla ice cream doesn't mean the whole world is going to be on board with that same trend. So you have to kind of make sure you are meeting them. If they want chocolate, you can provide that to them. It's a really great way of putting it. And Michael, thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing your incredible journey and insight with us. Where can our listeners reach out best to work with you or connect with you if they would like to do so?
They can just visit my website, michaljuhas.com, and yeah, they will find other channels to connect with me.
Beautiful stuff. And thank you again. I really, really appreciate your time today. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to go and check out Michal Juhas, as he just said. Drop him a message on LinkedIn. I'm sure he would love to hear from everybody. And do not forget to subscribe to Founders Future via wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with one of our team and discover how we went from zero to $30 million per year in less than 3 years. But until then, keep on climbing and we'll see you on the next one.